Traveling through the wilderness to the world of chaos, and with the help of the chaos treasure Chaos Pearl, he devoured the future demon lord Emperor Jun in the first person under the sage, Emperor Taiyi. Later on, he also possessed the accompanying treasure. The chaos clock of the innate treasure and the innate ultimate Lingxiao river map Luo Shu. At the beginning, he was even more invincible than Emperor Hongjun. From then on, an unprecedented generation of heavenly emperors visited the flood and wasteland, enjoying the worship of billions of living beings, becoming the only supreme deity of heaven and earth in the history of the flood and wasteland. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. The opening devoured Emperor Juntai. New. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. The opening devoured Emperor Juntai. On the first day of the new book, I kneel down to collect it. The four directions up and down call the universe. The exchange between ancient and modern times is called the universe. In the wilderness, it has been an unknown number of years since the founding of Pangu. However, the only thing that makes sentient beings aware is that the battle between the dragon, phoenix, and Qilan tribes has just ended, and they have since withdrawn from the wilderness stage. In this way, the beginning of Dragon Han's calamity came to an end, and the flood fell into a brief tranquility, and began to crazily practice in seclusion. Because from the previous great war that swept through the entire wilderness, all living beings learned the importance of cultivation. After all, the weak eat the strong, and ants can only be trampled and killed by others, except for being willing to compromise. And what billions of living beings do not know is that at this moment, they are looking up to the sky above. Within the endless starry sky. On this scorching sun star, which is hot enough to burn up space, two fire clusters as big as stars appear here. These two fire clusters are constantly nourished by the sun star, and their momentum is sometimes violent and sometimes subdued, looking incredibly magical. What is even more shocking is that when the sparks splashed out by the fire cluster landed on the surrounding meteorites, they ignited a raging fire, not only burning down the meteorites, but also illuminating the somewhat dim starry sky, blooming a beautiful scenery. But at this moment, an unusual wave appeared in a space above the sun star, followed by the appearance of a bottomless black hole. As the black hole appeared, it was surrounded by a chaotic storm, time, and space forces that could strangle the great Luo Golden Immortal. But if someone were here, they would surely find a chaotic bead floating in the center of this extremely dangerous black hole, and there was also a dormant consciousness mixed in on the bead. Obviously, it is precisely this strange bead that easily ruptured the space on the sun star. Shu. As the bead appeared here, ignoring the power of time and space, it seemed to consciously break free from space and arrived at the two previous fire clusters. Boom! With a thunderous roar on the flat ground, the eerie bead killed the will above the two fireballs directly. After completing all of this, the eerie pearl ignored the sun's true fire, flew into one of the fire clusters, and then released a dormant consciousness it carried, and the consciousness attached to this fire cluster like a magpie's nest. After finishing all of this, the consciousness was not satisfied and slowly moved to the side of another fireball. Get close. Ablation. Devouring. So, originally just two, now it has turned into a fireball, and the only fireball has finally turned into the shape of a three-legged golden black. The flood and famine do not remember years, nor do they know how long time has passed. The consciousness that devoured two fireballs finally woke up on this day. What's going on? Where am I? After waking up, Jiang Chen was dumbfounded. But soon, a message suddenly entered his consciousness. After receiving the message, Jiang Chen immediately understood his current situation. The Chaos Pearl brought me to the world of the wilderness, and also helped me devour Emperor Jun and Emperor Taiyi. After understanding, Jiang Chen was pleasantly surprised. That's right, the previous strange bead was the Chaos Treasure Chaos Pearl, and the two fire clusters on the sun star were also the original demon Emperor Jun and Eastern Emperor Taiyi. However, at this moment, they were devoured by Jiang Chen before they were born, allowing him to directly replace Emperor Jun and Taiyi. It was precisely because of this that Jiang Chen's heart was deeply moved. He never expected that the treasure he had seized from those big shots in his previous life would be the Chaos Treasure Chaos Pearl, and he never imagined that he had come to the famous world of chaos and even devoured Emperor Jun and Taiyi. In his past life, Jiang Chen was a cultivator, but at that time, it was the end of the Dharma era when the spiritual energy of heaven and earth had disappeared. Not to mention becoming a Taoist, he did not even have the ability to become an immortal. Therefore, he had hoped several times that he could cross the vast wilderness. Unexpectedly, Jiang Chen's wish was truly fulfilled, and he was directly brought into the world of chaos by the Chaos Pearl. And what kind of characters are Emperor Jun and Emperor Taiyi, who were devoured by Jiang Chen? Emperor Jun, the Lord of the Heavenly Court, the Emperor of 10,000 demons, is the Heavenly Emperor of the Hongjun. And the Eastern Emperor Taiyi, with his innate treasure Chaos Bell and extraordinary strength, fought against the 8 ancestral witches with his own strength, and was also known as the first person under the sage. Both of them are top-notch superpowers, but now they have been devoured by him. Therefore, how can Jiang Chen not be happy? Since I have devoured Emperor Jun and Eastern Emperor Taiyi, I will be called Emperor Yi in the future. After the joy, Jiang Chen, no, Emperor Yi thought to himself. Boom! As the words fell, I saw thunderclouds floating above the Emperor's head, and a majestic thunder dragon soaring among them. I'm going to transform myself. Seeing this, Emperor Yi realized in his heart. However, just as the thunder dragon set, a bright and auspicious light suddenly appeared around the sun star. Then, in the distance, a clock appeared with a chaotic and dark yellow appearance, surrounded by endless stars depicting the sun, moon, mountains, rivers, and countless tribes. Inside the clock body, there were mountains, rivers, earth, and countless clans hidden within it. Besides, at some point, something as diverse and ever-changing as a book appeared next to Emperor Yi. Innate Treasure Chaos Clock. Excellent Innate Lingxiao River Map Luo Shu. If there was a feeling in his heart, Emperor Yi couldn't help but look at the treasures that appeared on both sides of him. After reading them, he immediately understood what these two treasures were. Subsequently, as if confirming what Emperor Yi had in mind, a majestic thunder dragon swept towards him, but he had not yet waited for the thunder dragon to approach Emperor Yi's surroundings. Just hear one bell ring. Buzzing in an instant, the surrounding time froze and even space was mercilessly suppressed. 5-colored light shines on the sky. The pressure swept across the entire endless starry sky. Click. The previously fierce thunder dragon immediately dissipated, and even the thunderclouds that gathered at the top had long disappeared. For a moment, the power of the chaotic clock was terrifying. However, at this moment, Emperor Yi had no time to marvel. He was already attracted by the surging breath in his body. Chapter 2. The Luo Jin Xian, a powerful treasure. New. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. The Luo Jin Xian, a powerful treasure. On the first day of the new book, I kneeled down to collect it. Boom. A strong and unparalleled aura involuntarily emerged from within the Emperor's body. Immediately after, a sun's true fire that was as strong as the sun surrounded and engulfed Emperor Yi. At this moment, countless strange phenomena appeared on Zhou Tian. In the east of Emperor Yi, countless colorful lights bloom, and the shore colors fly in abundance. In the south, billions of golden and black creatures hissed, with a short head and a hunched body, as if cheering for the Supreme Emperor. In the west, golden lotus flowers emerge out of thin air and bloom one by one, eventually blooming into 9 flowers. In the north, Hichu Luoshu and Wanqing River blend together, blooming with endless light. At the same time, even the chaotic clock on the side suddenly sounded the sound of the Tao, and the bell kept ringing. However, Countless visions cannot compare to God one, because at this moment, the interweaving of enlightenment and reason appeared all over him. Tao and reason constantly entered Emperor Yi's mind, causing his momentum to constantly rise in this instant. In the early days of Taiyi Golden Immortal. Taiyi Jin Xian mid-term. Taiyi Jin Xian late stage. Taiyi Jin Xian is perfect. In the early days of the Luo Jin Xian. In the end, during the middle period of the Great Luo Golden Immortal, its momentum slowly calmed down. When Emperor Jun reached the middle stage of the Great Luo Golden Immortal, the illusion changed again, and a river slowly appeared in the nearby star space between illusion and reality. The River of Destiny. As is well known, whenever living beings preach the Dharma of the Golden Immortal, the River of Fate will appear, and as long as they transcend the River of Fate, they will become the immortal of all time and space. The Dharma of the Golden Immortal. At this moment, a three-legged golden black figure suddenly appeared on the River of Fate, flapping its wings and shouting loudly, leaping out from the River of Fate. Finally, he fell into the imperial realm that was engulfed by the true fire of the sun. As is well known, the three-legged golden woven destiny is the true fire of the sun. Therefore, the true fire of the sun, which can burn all things, not only did not harm Emperor Yi, but also made his momentum soar again. In the end, I don't know how long it has been, but the true fire of the sun, which was originally blooming with endless flames, slowly disappeared, even the three-legged golden crows of the emperor's body disappeared. Instead, a young man dressed in a golden yen-colored robe, exuding a domineering and unparalleled aura that was neither angry nor self-angry, with a flame mark on his forehead and long golden hair draped over his head appeared. Obviously, this is the transformed Emperor Yi. I never thought that my transformation would be the cultivation level of the middle stage of the Great Luo Golden Immortal. After transforming, Emperor Yi was pleasantly surprised to feel the massive and unparalleled magical power surging in his body. In the wilderness, cultivation levels are divided from low to high into Earth Immortal, Heavenly Immortal, True Immortal, Xian Immortal, Taiyi Xian Immortal, Jin Immortal, Taiyi Jin Immortal, De Luo Jin Immortal, Zhuansheng, Saint, Hun Yuan De Luo Jin Immortal, Hun Yuan Tian Dao Saint, and Hun Yuan De Dao Saint. Before the Sage Realm, each realm is further divided into early, middle, late, and perfect stages, while after the Sage Realm, each realm is divided into 10 levels of heaven. You should know that in the wilderness, besides the sage, there are ants everywhere. There is another famous saying that many golden immortals are like dogs, and great dragons walk everywhere. As the name suggests, the first sentence is that the sage is the strongest, which is without a doubt, while the second sentence tells all beings that only the realm of Dalai Lama can protect themselves. And now the Emperor's transformation is in the middle stage of the Great Luo Golden Immortal, which undoubtedly surpasses others by a lot. Is the transformation so much higher in cultivation than others? As the saying goes, step by step, the transformation of Emperor Yi Gang is the strength of the middle stage of the Great Luo Golden Immortal, not to mention the Chaos Treasure Chaos Pearl, Companion Treasure Innate Treasure Chaos Clock, and Innate Ultimate Lingxiao River Map Luo Shu that carry you through time. The former goes without saying much. In the chaotic period back then, there were only 4 chaotic treasures in the entire chaos, and Chaos Pearl was one of them. Even Pangu, the great god, was looking for Chaos Pearl, not to mention that he still travels here with Emperor Yi. Its role is self-evident in strengthening nature. And the Chaos Bell, the innate treasure, as the famous magic weapon of the former Eastern Emperor Taiyi, can imprison time and suppress space, kill without causality, and integrate attack and defense. As long as it is on top of the head, it stands undefeated. And he even earned the title of the first person under a saint because of this. As is well known, literature has no first and martial arts have no second. Apart from the powerful and invincible sage, why did he obtain this title? Besides his own strength, it is thanks to the Chaos Clock. Kill all the little ones. Finally, the top quality innate Lingxiao River Map Luo Shu. Although the grade of the Hichu Luo Shu is slightly lower, it contains countless profound truths, which can be inferred from the mysteries of the heavenly Tao. Moreover, it contains one of the four great killing arrays of the primordial realm, the Zhou Tian Star Dou Formation. The Zhou Tian Star Dou Formation, which integrates with the external space, can summon the power of the Zhou Tian universe stars, and wield the power of billions of stars to kill enemies. And this formation is completely different from ordinary formations. It does not have any space in the formation, but it can lock everyone under the formation, and the creatures locked by it, regardless of their divine abilities, cannot escape the falling of endless starlight. And the reason why it is called one of the four great killing arrays of the flood and wilderness is because its greatest achievement once briefly fought against the supreme sage. If one of these three treasures were obtained by someone else, it would be extremely lucky to become a top-level superpower in the wilderness. However, all three fell into the hands of the emperor, making them invincible. Even Hongjun Daozu, who is hailed as the spokesperson of the heavenly way, cannot compare to the current Emperor Yi, because the creation jade plate in Hongjun Daozu's hand, although at best it is still a chaotic treasure, is fundamentally incomplete, but Emperor Yi's chaos pearl is intact. Therefore, with such a strong reliance, Emperor Yi was confident that he could break the original ending of the fall of the three-legged golden crow, and even challenge the realm he dared not dream of in his past life. As soon as he read this, Emperor Yi couldn't help but quickly give the Chaos Bell and River Map Luo book beside him to recognize the Lord. The Chaos Clock was originally the companion treasure of Emperor Yi, so it was easily recognized by him without much effort. After collecting both precious items in his bag, Emperor Yi's mind couldn't help but become active, and he looked down at the vast land with a thoughtful expression. Chapter 3. The Power of the Eastern Emperor's Bell, Not Zhou Mountain. New. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. The Power of the Eastern Emperor's Bell, Not Zhou Mountain. On the first day of the new book, I kneel down to collect it. As is well known, people's understanding of the wilderness is not only based on their incredibly powerful cultivation, but also on countless magical treasures that stand out. And the role of magic weapons is also very obvious. If two people with the same cultivation have magic weapons, the winning situation will definitely increase a lot. You should know that this is a wasteland, and the laws of the jungle are fully demonstrated here. Once a war breaks out, it is very likely to be a life and death situation. If you can win, it means you can survive. For this reason, the world becomes obsessed with magic treasures and greedy. Just like the current Emperor Yi, he has three treasures. Just a chaos clock makes him confident that he is invincible in the middle stage of the Great Luo Golden Immortal, and even in the later stage of the Great Luo, he may be defeated. This is the benefit of magic weapons. Although the Emperor has three great treasures, who would think they have too many treasures? Moreover, even if he cultivates himself now, Emperor Yi is confident that he will not break through in the short term. After all, just now his foundation has already been depleted by more than half. Instead of practicing hard for tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of years, it's better to venture into the wasteland and explore luck, see if you can find opportunities to break through or other magic weapons, and also learn about the period of the wasteland. Moreover, he believed that as the future god of all demons, the heavenly emperor, he was naturally born with a kind of atmospheric fortune. As soon as he reached this point, Emperor Yi did not leave a trace of his thoughts. His thoughts followed his heart's beat, and soon his body's towering magical power flowed out. Divine power. The technique of turning a rainbow into a golden mist. In an instant, I saw a rainbow light streak across the sky. Dive into the wasteland at a speed that is invisible to the naked eye. 10 or so days later. Not by the side of the mountain. A rainbow beam of light fell onto an unknown small mountain. Obviously, this is the figure of Emperor Yi. The wilderness is too vast, and the distance between heaven and earth is even greater than Emperor Yi's imagination. You should know that his golden crow rainbow transformation technique is a speed skill, and coupled with the middle cultivation level of the Great Luo Golden Immortal, it is enough to rank among the top speed of the wilderness. Even so, it took him more than 10 days of hard work to come down from the sky, which shows the vastness of the wilderness. In his past life, he had longed for the wilderness, but in this life, he was somewhat amazed to see it. But just as he fell, a voice suddenly came from a distance in the sky. Why did the younger generation break into my king's territory without permission? Why don't you leave quickly? As soon as the words fell, with a loud roar, a giant python black snake the size of a mountain appeared in Emperor Yi's eyes. Originally, just as Emperor Yi leaped down from the sky, his vision of breaking through the sky immediately fell into the eyes of the living beings on the surrounding earth. As the dominant snake demon of this land, it naturally noticed it immediately and quickly arrived here after the emperor's landing. After all, this is his territory. If outsiders trespass here without his permission, they will be enemies, because if there is any disturbance during cultivation, the consequences can be imagined. Not to mention that this place is still a wasteland of killing and looting. Without a guarded heart, one will die a very tragic death. However, this snake demon is wary of the wrong person. Just as he appeared and the emperor turned his head to look at him, an endless pressure suddenly surged up. Buzz! Immediately afterwards, a bell rang throughout the 4 directions. Under the terror of the snake demon, a dark yellow bell appeared in his eyes that he couldn't stand. Chaos Clock. Without further ado, Emperor Yi directly used the Chaos Clock. Originally, he had just broken through to the middle stage of the Great Luo Golden Immortal and still possessed the 3 greatest treasures. Emperor Yi felt a itching sensation in his heart. After seeing the snake demon appear and speak ill of oneself, I still don't understand that this is a solution to my itching. But I don't know about the snake demon in Emperor Yi's heart. At this moment, he is already terrified and ready to explode. Because with the sound of a bell, he felt like he couldn't move in an instant, and the entire time and space seemed to be at a standstill. At the same time, a sharp sword seemed to strike his throat, as if he would die the next second. Seeing this, he didn't even know that everything was done by the person in front of him. But he just understood, he was even more shocked. You should know that he is a mid-level cultivator of the Great Luo Golden Immortal, and he can be considered to have some strength in this vast wilderness. Otherwise, he would not have become a hegemon. But now what did he see? The person in front of him didn't even move and let himself do this. So this person is from the later stage of the Luo Jin Xian. The Luo Jin Xian is perfect. Or even a higher level of cultivation. He can't imagine it. Because this is already a great magical power that affects space and time. I'll ask and answer. Just as the snake demon was inexplicably frightened, a calm and unaffected voice suddenly entered his ear. Upon hearing this, the snake demon felt as if relieved of his burden, and the sharp sword between his throat seemed to disappear, allowing some parts of him to move. Immediately, he was overjoyed and quickly nodded. What is this place? Emperor Yi asked. Bu Zhou Shan. So when is it now, or what major event happened before? A few minutes later, with Emperor Yi's inquiry, he finally asked what he wanted. He is currently located near the Buzhou mountain, and recently, the great war between the dragon, phoenix, and Qilan tribes in the wilderness has just ended. That is to say, he has just experienced the initial calamity of the dragon and Han dynasties and the battle of witches and demons. To be more precise, he has not even appeared in the preaching of Hongjun. After inquiring about all of this, Emperor Yi looked towards a majestic mountain that towered into the sky not far away. Bu Zhou Shan. Without further ado, a name appeared mysteriously and clearly in his heart. Bu Zhou Mountain. It is rumored that the great god Pangu created the world of chaos and transformed into all things, and his spine transformed into Bu Zhou Mountain, with even remnants of Pangu's will on it. Thinking of this, Emperor Yi did not hesitate any longer, waved his hand to retrieve the chaos clock, and then used the rainbow transformation technique to fly towards Buzhou Mountain. Seeing this, the snake demon who stayed in place inexplicably breathed a sigh of relief, looking behind Emperor Yi and feeling like he had survived the disaster. However, he did not expect that this sight would become the last scene of his life. Buzz! A bell rang. In an instant, the snake demon's body, which was comparable to a mountain, turned into ashes and disappeared completely. Snake demon in the middle of the Dalai Lama, instantly kill. Chapter 4. I am the Heavenly Emperor. Treasure of 33 Days. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. I am the Heavenly Emperor. Treasure of 33 Days. On the first day of the new book, I kneeled down to collect it Zhou Shan. Just as he arrived here, Emperor Yi felt a sense of heaviness and desolation. As I stepped onto the mountain, I felt like something was pressing on my shoulders. Pangu's residual willpower is oppressing. Upon seeing this, Emperor Yi realized it in his heart. But he did not retreat but instead advanced, ignoring the pressure of Pangu and flying directly towards Mount Buzhou. Just kidding, you should know that he is a person who aspires to become the heavenly emperor of the flood and wilderness. How could he be stumped by this residual pressure? And the reason why he came at this moment is not only to see Mount Buzhou, but also to covet the treasures on Mount Buzhou. Seeing Pangu's pressure appear on Mount Buzhou now is not surprising, but rather joyful, because in this way, Mount Buzhou may have resisted many creatures, including many treasures. Even the future treasure that belongs to oneself and can establish the supreme heaven is waiting for its arrival. As he pondered, Emperor Yi's figure had unknowingly reached the halfway up the Buzhou mountain. At this point, as the power of Pangu gradually rose, it had become heavier and heavier, causing the figure of Emperor Yi to unconsciously affect him a bit, much slower than before. However, this may allow the Luo Jin Xian to stay here in the middle or even later stages, but it is not enough for Emperor Yi to see. He is still effortless, and even able to freely use his immortal sense to search around Buzhou mountain. He is searching for treasures in Mount Buzhou. After all, it is well known that the treasures of the flood and famine are hidden with their own heavenly secrets. If it were not for certain opportunities and luck, they would never have been discovered. And Emperor Yi intends to test his own luck. As he climbed upward step by step, Emperor Yi briefly gave up his immortal sense of searching for treasures and instead began to move upwards with all his heart. Because as he was about to reach the top, the pressure around him had reached a terrifying level. People don't even have the qualification to fly, they can only walk on the spot. Even Emperor Yi is not excluded. This is because of his profound background, otherwise he wouldn't even have the qualification to come here. It's getting close. It's even closer to the mountaintop. Looking at the nearby mountaintop, the emperor, who was resisting the pressure around him, had an abnormal blush on his face. Pop! Just stepped on my foot, and I saw the ground sink in directly, a foot deep. At the same time, the spiritual energy of the surrounding heaven and earth has also reached a non-human level, and the spiritual energy of the surrounding space has directly transformed into immortal mist. Even taking a sip is a massive amount of spiritual energy. Emperor Yi believes that if he were to cultivate here and give him 10,000 years, he would definitely be able to break through. Don't think that 10,000 years is a long time. You should know that he just reached the middle stage of the golden immortal of the great Luo not long ago. How long does it take for ordinary people to reach the great Luo? It is possible that one may never achieve it in their lifetime, and after just breaking through, they know how much time their next breakthrough will take. Not to mention, without a certain great chance, it may take at least tens of thousands of years of effort. It can be seen from this that the difficulty of breaking through the next level of realm after reaching Dala is not limited to the rich spiritual energy on the mountain. As he was pleasantly surprised by the rich spiritual energy around him, Emperor Yi was also eagerly anticipating the level of spiritual energy at the mountaintop, as it would undoubtedly allow him to quickly break through. In no time, he had already arrived at the closest point to the mountaintop, and it can be said that he only needed to take one step to reach the summit of Mount Buzhou. However, it was this step that made him extremely difficult. Even if he used the powerful magic in his body, it was of no use, and even at this moment, he was not satisfied with his previous indifferent expression. I, as the future heavenly emperor, cannot even solve this small pressure. Emperor Yi's face looked a bit ugly. But then, he gave up his inner doubts and was replaced by an invincible belief. I am invincible. After the birth of the invincible belief, a towering three-legged golden black shadow suddenly appeared behind him. It stands proudly in the sky, with a contemptuous expression, and a natural imperial aura in its eyes expresses itself without saying a word. Zhou. A black gun rang out. Immediately, the emperor moved. Boom. Stepped over. He finally climbed to the top of Mount Buzhou. At the same time, the magnificent scenery of the vast land, mountains, rivers, and streams also fell into his eyes one by one. However, at this moment, he didn't have time to marvel at the magnificent scenery of the vast land, and instead was immersed in a sudden enlightenment in his mind. I didn't expect that the previous pressure even helped me, allowing me to break through the realm of the Luo Jin Xian's later stage. Emperor Yi was pleasantly surprised. He didn't expect that there would be such an opportunity to climb Mount Buzhou, allowing him to break through to the realm of the later stage of the Dalai Lama. That is to say, as long as the emperor's internal magic reaches, he can break through to the later stage of the Dalai Lama without any obstacles. What you need to know is, how long has it been since he reached the middle stage of the great Luo Golden Immortal? He has just broken through in less than 20 days. Terrifying. Even the breakthrough speed of the 6 famous saints in their past lives is not as terrifying as Emperor Jun at this time. As the heavenly emperor, I will suppress everything in the world. In addition to his surprise, Emperor Yi's expression suddenly became solemn, and a powerful pressure suddenly emanated from him. In the end, it even swept across the entire summit of Mount Buzhou. That was the mid-stage of the Great Luo Golden Immortal, and even close to the pressure of the late stage of the Great Luo Golden Immortal. However, just as he spread his authority throughout the entire summit of Mount Buzhou, a sense of obstruction suddenly spread in his heart. What is this? Emperor looked up at a certain space in the sky, feeling a little suspicious in his heart. But before he could react, the next moment a powerful suction force emerged from it and sucked him directly in. Shake your eyes again. The surroundings have turned out to be a landscape of change. And at this moment, a message also appeared in his sea of consciousness. After understanding the message, Emperor Yi's exclamation quickly rang out. I didn't expect this to be the 33 days of the Supreme Treasure. The land where the heavenly court was founded in later generations. P.S. Seeking comments, flowers, evaluation tickets, rewards, monthly tickets. Guaranteed 4 changes, 1 comment plus 1 change, 500 flowers plus 1 change, 100 review tickets plus 1 change, 100 book coin rewards plus 1 change, 3 monthly tickets plus 1 change. Chapter 5. 33 Days of Evolutionary World, Floods and Earthquakes. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. 33 Days of Evolutionary World, Floods and Earthquakes. On the first day of the new book, I kneel down to collect it. The 33 heavens of the Supreme Treasure contains a total of 30.3 heavens, which are the key treasures for establishing the heavenly court. And Emperor Yi was determined to become the heavenly emperor of the flood and wilderness, so when he saw the treasure of establishing the heavenly court appear in front of him, he was immediately overjoyed. Fortunately, it was Emperor Yi who came here. Otherwise, if anyone else were to release their immortal knowledge, they would not be able to find the trace of the 33 heavens, because the 33 heavens had already been covered by the heavenly machine. Unless anyone outside the heavenly emperor came here, they would not be discovered. If it weren't for this, the ancestors of the 3 tribes of the Hongjun who stood at the peak of the Hongjun had long discovered it. After the surprise, Emperor Yi did not hesitate too much, but directly planned to start refining the precious treasure in front of him. After all, he still understood the principle that time comes before it changes. But just as he had an idea, the chaos pearl in the sea of consciousness suddenly burst into a chaotic light. Afterwards, he involuntarily flew out of the sea of Emperor Yi's consciousness and slowly appeared above the 33 heavens, presenting a chaotic color to all worlds. No, with the active appearance of the chaos pearl, the light around it is not just light, but actually releases the chaos chi, the mother of all things. In the end, it even spread to 30.3 worlds. This phenomenon was not hidden from Emperor Yi's eyes, but the speed of occurrence was too fast for him to react. And what surprised him was that, whether it was his illusion or something else, he found that the world was slowly expanding within 33 days, and the spiritual energy of Zhou Tian, both in density and quality, was gradually becoming more and more intense, gradually improving step by step. Even myself began to involuntarily absorb the chaotic energy around me. You should know that although chaos chi is precious as the mother chi of all things, its level of danger is also extremely alarming. Even the most supreme sage in later generations dare not absorb chaos chi recklessly. Because they don't have that physique at all. The only one who can absorb chaotic energy recklessly is the chaos demon god who was born in the chaos period and possesses the chaos god demon constitution. Although Emperor Yi does not have a chaos divine and demon constitution, he has the chaos treasure chaos pearl. However, although it was not life-threatening, some pain was still unavoidable. Therefore, Emperor Yi immediately sat cross-legged in place, closed his eyes, and began to absorb it well. In this way, chaos pearl is not only changing the physical constitution of Emperor Yi, but also changing the world for 33 days. The world, therefore sublimated. If Emperor Yi still had consciousness outside at this moment, he would surely find that his appearance had changed within 30.3 days, and countless laws and principles had emerged on the Zhou Tian. That's right, it's the avenue of laws. You should know that in the wilderness, why are saints praised as the supreme and invincible existence of right and wrong saints? It is precisely because they have practiced the law. Between words and actions, there is a path of rules. Do you see that during the chaotic period, 3,000 chaotic gods and demons each practiced a path of laws? Even Pan Gu, the great god of palm power, is like this. However, even Pan Gu has not mastered a complete rule, otherwise he would have proven to be a saint of the Hunyuan Avenue long ago. Because of this, it is enough to demonstrate the rarity and strength of the Law Avenue. But now countless laws and avenues have emerged on Sunday. If there are outsiders from the wilderness here, even unknown minions, as long as they take the opportunity to cultivate here for a period of time, they will become the great power of the wilderness. However, although no outsiders are here to witness the magical laws of this place. But what Emperor Yi didn't know was that at this time, the flood caused a sensation due to him. Because at the moment when the Chaos Pearl began to evolve into the real world for 33 days, a dazzling light suddenly appeared on the mountaintop of the Honghuang Buzhou mountain. Subsequently, a purple aura came from the east for 30,000 miles, and the sound of fairy music came from Mount Buzhou. Golden lotus blooms on the empty sky, and countless rays of light cover the sky and the earth. The sky is filled with the sound of dragons and phoenixes, and auspicious signs rise up in the sky. In an instant, strange phenomena fill the sky. And for all of this, it naturally fell into the eyes of billions of creatures by the boundless mountains. When they saw this vast vision, all creatures trembled. As is well known, since ancient times, whenever an incredible treasure is born, it is either accompanied by a terrifying thunder disaster or a strange phenomenon is born. But now there is such a huge anomaly appearing on Mount Buzhou. Isn't this to say that there is a celestial treasure appearing on Mount Buzhou? Thinking of this, all the living beings stopped calming down and immediately, as if they had agreed, flew towards Mount Buzhou together. After all, in the face of the emergence of powerful treasures, not many people can resist this temptation, let alone such a powerful treasure that has been accompanied by countless illusions since its birth. And it was also at this moment. On Mount Yujing, there is a palace that blends with the surrounding heaven and earth. Above the palace is the famous Lingxiao Palace. At this moment, there was an old Taoist sitting in the purple sky palace, holding a brush in his hand. Obviously, this is the famous ancestor of Hongjun Taoism in later generations. What's going on? Heaven and earth celebrate together. Is there anyone who became a saint one step earlier than me? Hongjun woke up from his sudden cultivation and immediately seemed to have a feeling. His deep, watery eyes pierced through space and looked towards the direction of the mountains, but this sight immediately made his face change drastically. The whole person was shocked. Congratulations from heaven and earth. This is a sign of the birth of a saint. As he was about to become a saint, he was well aware of this, but as far as he knew, the only person with the ability to become a saint besides himself was the demon ancestor Luo Hui. Luo Hui had already been killed by himself, so it should be said that now only he, the only one who can become a saint, is right. But now, thousands of thoughts flashed through his mind, but Hongjun did not continue his cultivation. Instead, he waved the brush in his hand, and then he naturally disappeared in place. It seems that he has never appeared here before. PS, seeking comments, flowers, evaluation tickets, rewards, monthly tickets. Guaranteed 4 changes, 1 comment plus 1 change, 500 flowers plus 1 change, 100 review tickets plus 1 change, 100 book coin rewards plus 1 change, 3 monthly tickets plus 1 change. Chapter 6. Chaos Gods and Demons. Saint of the Way. New. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Chaos Gods and Demons. Saint of the Way. New book kneels for everything. However, Emperor Yi was unaware of everything outside at this moment, and instead had fully devoted himself to absorbing the chaotic energy of the Mother of 10,000 Qi. The flood does not remember the year. Time seems to be the most useless thing in the flood, and thousands of years pass by in a blink of an eye. At this moment, the illusion of Zhou Tian had already ended, and even Emperor Yi gradually woke up. I didn't expect that the Chaos Ball was helping me improve my physique before, and it helped me break through from the innate divine constitution to the rebellious constitution of the Chaos God and Demon. After waking up, Emperor Yi was immediately attracted by the infinite power that filled his body, and upon learning about what had happened before, he gasped in shock. Originally, the Chaos Ball released Chaos Qi and protected Emperor Yi from absorbing Chaos Qi, not for anything else, but to improve Emperor Yi's physical condition. Let him break through from the top innate divine constitution to the chaotic divine and demon constitution. You should know that this is the chaos divine and demon constitution, which is not only higher than the primordial divine constitution, but also a rebellious constitution that only existed during the chaos period before the opening of the heavens. It can be said that the entire wilderness is unique. After all, the last owner of the Chaos Divine Demons constitution was still on the 3,000 Chaos Divine Demons before the opening of the heavens. Even one of the remaining Chaos Divine Demons, Hongjun, survived the calamity of the opening of the heavens, but the death penalty was inevitable, and the Chaos Divine Demons constitution became incomplete as a result. To put it bluntly, I'm afraid that the footsteps of all the creatures in the wilderness may not be as good as those of Emperor Yi at this moment. Because in the entire wilderness, the top-level followers are the top innate gods. Even with the addition of Hongjun Daozu, it is only an incomplete chaos god and demon constitution. However, Emperor Yi is a complete chaos god and demon, with a follower physique that surpasses all the wilderness creatures. Thinking of this, Emperor Yi was immediately overjoyed. At first, he thought he had devoured 2 tripod golden crows to become the only tripod golden crow today, and his physique should be considered the top of the line. However, he didn't expect Chaos Pearl to give him such a surprise. As is well known, in the wilderness, a person's strength mainly depends on their cultivation, supernatural powers, treasures, physical body, and physique. But now, without mentioning anything else, Emperor Yi's physique has directly become the best existence in the wilderness. And due to the Chaos Divine and Demon constitution, my physical body broke through from Taiyi Golden Immortal to the early stage of Daluo Golden Immortal. Soon, Emperor Yi was pleasantly surprised again. As early as the beginning, Emperor Yi knew where his shortcomings were. Although he had 3 precious companions at the beginning, he was very clear that his cultivation level and physical body were ultimately his weaknesses. It goes without saying that one's cultivation level is not enough. Those who do not become saints are all ants. And the physical body, although the 3-legged golden crow is the top innate divine constitution in the wilderness, and the physical body can also be considered one of the top in the wilderness, it is ultimately not the top. The top tier is on his future archenemy, the witch clan. But now, everything has turned the other way. After becoming a chaotic god and demon, Emperor Yi has become the strongest physical body in this wilderness, just as strong as the witch race. Chaos Pearl truly deserves to be one of the 4 treasures of chaos, the supreme treasure. When he came to his senses from the surprise, Emperor Yi couldn't help but think of the initiator of all this, Chaos Pearl. Immediately, he suddenly remembered the 30.3 days he had just obtained not long ago. Since Chaos Ball has helped improve one's physical fitness, what did Chaos Ball do to 33 days before? Emperor Yi was puzzled in his heart. Then he quickly woke up from meditation and opened his eyes to spread his immortal consciousness in all directions, intending to see what changes had occurred around him. Spiritual energy. More than 100 times stronger spiritual energy than the outside world. Just opened his eyes, before the emperor could do anything, he suddenly saw a large mist of immortality appearing in his eyes. This is a manifestation of the extremely rich spiritual energy around, vaporizing into mist. However, what surprised Emperor Yi was not just this. Chaos Pearl seemed to know his thoughts and didn't need him to check them, sending a message directly to his mind. Previously, Chaos Pearl actually allowed 33 days to evolve the world. After reviewing the message in his mind, Emperor Yi's heart was shaken. Vaguely, he seemed to have discovered the greatest use of chaos beads. Evolutionary world. You should know that this is almost equivalent to the beginning of heaven. No wonder even the great god Pangu had to search for the Chaos Pearl during the Chaos period before. It turns out that the Chaos Pearl still has such a wonderful function. It is not an exaggeration to say that a chaos bead with such a function can become the foundation of the Saint of the Hunyuan Avenue, allowing a magic weapon to evolve into a world of its own. Because if Pangu were to obtain it, he was afraid that it would likely lead to a successful enlightenment. The relationship between Chaos Pearl and Hunyuan Avenue Saint is similar to that between Hongmeng Purple Qi and Saint. Hongmeng Purple Qi is the foundation of sanctification, while Chaos Pearl is the foundation of achieving Hunyuan Avenue Saint. Although the two have the same meaning, the latter is undoubtedly more precious. Of course, it doesn't mean that becoming the Saint of Hunyuan Avenue requires chaos beads, it just means that having chaos beads has a great chance of breaking through the Saint of Hunyuan Avenue in the future. Saint of the Way. Thinking of this, a hint of longing appeared in the Emperor's eyes. That is a thirst for Tao and strength. However, Emperor Yi knew that these were too early for him now. After all, he had not even broken through the quasi-saint, let alone the sage of Hunyuan Avenue. He is not a person with lofty goals. After a slight surprise for everything he had just obtained, he refocused his mind on this brand new 30.3 days. You should know that this is a treasure, and now it is a world, so there is a high possibility that there are treasures hidden inside. For his own things, he naturally needs to pack them up, and he also wants to familiarize himself with these 30.3 days. After all, this is the place where the heavenly court will be built in the future. If even the owner doesn't know its effectiveness, it would undoubtedly be a bit comical. Thinking of achieving it, Emperor Yi immediately possessed the technique of transforming the golden and black rainbow, transforming it into a rainbow of colorful light and soaring into the sky. P.S. Seeking comments, flowers, evaluation tickets, rewards, monthly tickets. Guaranteed 4 changes, 1 comment plus 1 change, 500 flowers plus 1 change, 100 review tickets plus 1 change, 100 book coin rewards plus 1 change, 3 monthly tickets plus 1 change. Chapter 7. Wuji Apricot Yellow Flag. Lingxiao Heavenly Court. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. Wuji Apricot Yellow Flag. Lingxiao Heavenly Court. New book kneels for everything. However, just as Emperor Yi was happily searching for treasure, what he didn't know was that by this time, a great war had already begun in the vicinity of Buzhou Mountain due to his intense fighting. And all of this is for the precious treasure that caused the illusion before. But what they didn't know was that the treasure they wanted was right above their heads, and they didn't even know it when passing by from around. Because the 30.3 days hidden inside the Chaos Pearl were too strong, not to mention them, even Hongjun Daozu couldn't see any signs of coming here. Finally, he waited for a long time before leaving with a hint of gloom. Compared to the fierce battle outside, within 33 days. Emperor Yi had just released his immortal consciousness and scanned the 4 directions for 30.3 days. Not long after, he saw a dark yellow flag appearing in his immortal consciousness. Seeing this, how could Emperor Yi not know that this is the spiritual treasure he is looking for? So the next moment, his figure appeared nearby. One-handed move. The dark yellow flag took the initiative to fly into his hands. At the same time, a message also appeared in Emperor Yi's sea of consciousness. Unexpectedly, this is the Wuji Apricot Yellow Flag, one of the 5 banners of heaven and earth. After a moment of concentration, the Emperor let out a pleasant surprise. As is well known, during the Chaos period, there were 4 great treasures of chaos. Except for the Chaos Pearl in the Emperor's hand, which was intact, the other creation Jade plates, the Heavenly Divine Axe, and the Chaos Green Lotus all broke apart due to the opening of the heavens, eventually dividing into numerous spiritual treasures in the wilderness. The Wuji Apricot Yellow Flag is transformed from the 5 lotus leaves on the Chaos Blue Lotus, the ultimate innate spiritual treasure. When used, it can defend against unparalleled and inviolable magic. Recalling his previous memories, the Emperor immediately collected the Wuji Apricot Yellow Flag without hesitation. Although slightly inferior to his Chaos Clock and Hichu Luo Shu, this is also a famous spiritual treasure in the wilderness. Moreover, if combined with other 4 flags, it can become a top-notch innate spiritual treasure. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but have thoughts in his heart. He made up his mind that if he encountered it in the future, he would definitely not miss it. After all, he happened to lack a set of defense arrays to help him look at the Heavenly Court family gate. And just as he had just started searching for treasures, a top-quality innate spiritual treasure arrived, which immediately gave him a sense of anticipation for the upcoming journey. After all, he had not even searched through the first world himself, and there were still 30.2 in such a world. There are 30.2 treasures from different worlds waiting for him to retrieve. However, at this moment, is this caused by chance? A sudden impulse surged in Emperor Yi's heart, making him unable to think much. He was pleasantly surprised and turned his head to look up at the sky. It is said that whenever a cultivator reaches a certain level of cultivation, they will know their own misfortunes, blessings, misfortunes, and good fortune, and the capable will even warn in advance. It's like now. Immediately, Emperor Yi did not hesitate too much and did not continue to search for treasures. Instead, he used his divine powers to fly directly towards the sky. The space within 33 days is already very large, not to mention that due to its evolution into a world, it has already become 33 worlds. It can be said that the entire area is incredibly vast, about the size of 1,000 times the size of a wilderness. Not to mention the middle stage of the Golden Immortal period in Dalao, even in the later stage of Dalao, it would take decades of effort to surround the 33 days. Even the previous Emperor One would take about 10 years to complete all of this. But now it's different. Emperor Yi now possesses the physique of Chaos God and Demon, which not only enhances his physical body, but also greatly increases his speed. The speed at this time can be said to be 10 times higher than before. That's it, in less than a year. He arrived at the place where he had warned in his heart. Just arrived here, before the emperor could step into this highest sky, a majestic momentum filled the entire sky, and a sense of awe emerged in the nearby space. The scene of Zhou Tian constantly tells the difference of this highest heaven. Even Emperor Yi glanced sideways a few more times, feeling somewhat surprised. Because he found that this heavenly sky, like the Buzhou mountain he had climbed before, had an indescribable pressure appearing here, and it was not small. It can be said that if ordinary beings from the early stages of the great Luo Golden Immortal came here, they would not even have the qualification to step into this heavenly sky. This undoubtedly aroused the curiosity in Emperor Yi's heart, and a guess involuntarily appeared in his heart. As far as he knows, he has almost looked through the world of the 32nd heavenly sky, but has never remembered that thing, which means that this 33rd heavenly sky is highly likely to be stepped on. Emperor Yi took a step forward and then his entire body was wrapped in it. After he entered, a more powerful pressure came over him than before, even mixed with a hint of imperial aura, powerful enough to make any ordinary strong person in the later stage of the great Luo Golden Immortal kneel and bow down. But for some reason, Emperor Yi surprisingly didn't feel it at all, but felt like he had returned home. Because, just as the pressure struck, it seemed like something had been activated within the emperor's body, and then he involuntarily responded. Boom! The Luo Jin Xian's mid-term momentum, fully open. A three-legged golden and black shadow that arrogantly looked down upon the world floated behind me. And even the sun, which is as strong as the sun, is burning the entire sky with true fire. In addition, a natural heavenly emperor's power erupted from within the emperor's body. Sure enough, I guessed right. This is really the Lingxiao palace. Faced with all of this, the emperor ignored it and instead looked at a golden plaque the size of a mountain hanging in the sky with a look of ecstasy. Famous on the card. Lingxiao Treasure Hall *. Chapter 8. The Heavenly Emperor Jade Seal, a terrifying cultivation technique. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. The Heavenly Emperor Jade Seal, a terrifying cultivation technique. New book kneels down to collect flowers. There were 4 ancient divine texts on it that fell into the eyes of Emperor Yi, and then a mysterious message appeared in his sea of consciousness, letting him know what these 4 words meant and confirming his previous speculation in his heart. Lingxiao Treasure Hall, established the land of the heavenly court. Previously, it was on a whim that the Lingxiao palace was calling out to Emperor Yi, the heavenly emperor. And after Emperor Yi arrived here, in an instant, he saw the plaque depicting the Lingxiao palace shining brightly, illuminating the entire sky. It seems like welcoming Emperor Yi. Seeing this, the emperor smiled. Then he flew in and arrived at the center of the Lingxiao treasure hall. As the highest level of the 33 heavens, the spiritual energy here has already reached a terrifying level, surrounded by fairy mist, as if it were a true fairyland. But as Emperor Yi arrived at the center of the Lingxiao treasure hall, he saw a golden and magnificent Tianzhu palace with a towering sky, and its desolate and domineering aura was even stronger. However, Emperor Yi did not focus too much on the surroundings. As soon as he entered, he looked at a throne placed directly above the palace. That is a position that belongs only to the heavenly emperor. The heavenly emperor throne. In addition to the throne of the heavenly emperor, there is also a jade seal suspended in mid-air on the right side, and a scroll of Taoist scriptures on the left side. Upon seeing this, the emperor sat down without hesitation. Because only he is qualified to sit here in the entire wilderness. Boom! In an instant, a golden light of tens of thousands of zhang shone on the entire Zhou sky, causing all worlds in the 33 heavens to emit a brilliant light. At the same time, the jade seals and Taoist scriptures on both sides of the throne flew into Emperor Yi's immortal consciousness with a swoop. This made Emperor Yi unable to help but slowly close his eyes and accept the automatic recognition of the Ling Bao as the master. And with this closure, 100 years passed quietly. Emperor Yi finally refined and absorbed all the previous 2 spiritual treasures. It truly deserves to be the Lingxiao Palace, where there are such powerful spiritual treasures and techniques waiting for me. After refining, Emperor Yi was ecstatic in his heart. Originally, the previous Jade Seal and Taoist scriptures were nothing else, but a powerful spiritual treasure and technique. The former is called the Jade Seal of the Heavenly Emperor, engraved with the words, "In heaven and earth, only the Emperor is supreme." It is a powerful spiritual treasure exclusively owned by the Heavenly Emperor, and is a top-notch innate spiritual treasure. It can not only suppress and kill enemies, but also suppress the vitality of the Heavenly Court. The latter is the Heavenly Emperor Sutra, which is exclusive to the Heavenly Emperor. Practicing it to the extreme can even reach the level of a saint, who is the Hunyuan Daoyuo Golden Immortal. However, all of this is just their previous introduction. After the Chaos Pearl transformed the 33 heavens into a world, everything changed. The rich spiritual energy in it not only surpassed that of the outside world by thousands of times, but also underwent a qualitative change in the 2 exclusive items of the Heavenly Emperors in the Lingxiao Treasure Hall. For example, the Jade Seal of the Heavenly Emperor, the Chaos Pearl, surprisingly broke through its original constraints and reached the level of an innate treasure. This is a congenital treasure. You should know that the spiritual treasures of the entire wasteland before were only 3 innate treasures, namely the Chaos Bell, Pangu Banner, and Tai Chi Diagram. This shows how precious the innate treasures are. But now the Heavenly Emperor Jade Seal has also become an innate treasure. It's simply terrifying. The Heavenly Emperor Sutra, not to mention, has evolved into the Hongmeng Heavenly Emperor Sutra due to the influence of the law and the Great Tao. It has evolved from pursuing the Heavenly Tao to a powerful cultivation technique that directly points to the origin of the Great Tao. As is well known, cultivation also has a speed division, which is influenced by the surrounding spiritual and immortal qi, and more importantly, the cultivation method, which can make people practice faster, and stronger. The Hongmeng Heavenly Emperor's Classic is a powerful martial arts technique. It is only divided into 4 levels, each corresponding to a realm. At the same time, practicing to a certain extent will also obtain divine powers, just like the first level. As long as the cultivation is successful, it will become the realm of the great Luo Golden Immortal. The second level will reach the Saint, which is the Hunyuan Great Luo Golden Immortal. The third level is the Hunyuan Heavenly Tao Saint, and the fourth level is the Hunyuan Avenue Saint. That is to say, the Hongmeng Heavenly Emperor Sutra is a martial art that only the Great Luo Golden Immortal is qualified to practice, and when completed, it will reach the terrifying realm of the Hunyuan Avenue Sage, which is unprecedented in ancient times. Recalling the powerful Hongmeng Heavenly Emperor Sutra in the Sea of Consciousness, Emperor Yi suddenly became calm. This is the great sage of the Tao, not an ordinary saint, nor a heavenly sage. He is the great sage of the Tao who has not even broken through the great god of Pangu. You should know that in the wilderness, there are only 7 ordinary saints, but it is these 7 who control the entire wilderness, and the heavenly way sage is the only one, Hongjun, who is also known as the ancestor of the Tao and the teacher of all beings, the supreme existence. If you become a sage of the Tao, then it's not to mention that it's just a matter of casually opening up a new era. It can be seen from this how terrifying the Hongmeng Heavenly Emperor Sutra is. Indeed, the Chaos Pearl is truly the treasure of chaos. After feeling ecstatic and licking his tongue, Emperor Yi muttered to himself. Previously, he thought it was just 2 ordinary treasures, but who would have thought that Chaos Pearl had given him such a big surprise? And he believes that as the initiator of everything, Chaos Pearl's mystery and strength may not have been fully revealed by himself yet. After speaking to himself, Emperor Yi finally put his mind back into these 30.3 days. With the automatic recognition of the previous Heavenly Emperor Jade Seal and the Hongmeng Heavenly Emperor Sutra, the Emperor saved a lot of effort. Not only did he unlock the 30 prohibitions in the Heavenly Emperor Jade Seal in one go, but he also directly practiced the Hongmeng Heavenly Emperor Sutra to the first level. In the wilderness, each spiritual treasure has a corresponding prohibition existence, and it is precisely because of the prohibition that the grade of spiritual treasures is clearly divided. Those with 1 to 12 prohibitions are inferior innate spiritual treasures, those with 13 to 20.4 prohibitions are intermediate innate spiritual treasures, those with 20.5 to 30.6 prohibitions are superior innate spiritual treasures, those with 30.7 to 40.8 prohibitions are top-grade innate spiritual treasures, and those with 40.9 prohibitions are innate treasures. Only by lifting the restrictions one by one can the owner of the spiritual treasure fully unleash its power. Therefore, Emperor Yi would put away the heavenly Emperor Jade seal and put his mind back in the 33 heavens. Because he plans to refine for 30.3 days. P.S. The flowers and review tickets are not increasing anymore, and there aren't even many comments. Is it because no one has read this book? If someone is interested, could you please cast some flowers and evaluation votes for me? These are all free, and even if you don't want to cheer me up in the comments, at least let me know that I'm not alone. Thank you very much. Chapter 9. Hongjun becomes a sage. Refining successful. New. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Hongjun becomes a sage. Refining successful. New book kneels down to collect flowers. However, just as the emperor began to refine, endless thunder tribulations had already gathered outside the Buzhou mountain, covering the entire Buzhou mountain. It all indicates that something big has happened. Even when Hongjun discovered this situation, he quickly began to deduce the mystery. Not long after, his face changed drastically, and a voice of doubt rang out. Is the heavenly emperor born? How could it be? Shouldn't it be? It's chaotic, everything is chaotic. At his level, and with fragments of the jade plate of creation, he had already gained some insight into the vast situation of the times, and naturally knew about the heavenly emperor who was destined for this day. After all, he was one of the main characters of the second cataclysm. But just now, he discovered that the heavenly emperor had been born ahead of schedule, and he couldn't even calculate the information about the heavenly emperor. It seemed like a mist blocked his deduction, and even through the creation of the jade plate, only one information about the heavenly emperor's birth could be obtained. That's why his face looked so ugly. You should know that he is about to become a saint and can be considered the strongest in the wilderness. Coupled with the fragments of the creation jade plate, he used to calculate that something would never go wrong, but now it is still the first time he has been hindered. It's better to break through as soon as possible. Upon realizing this situation, Hongjun had a bad premonition in his heart, and a long-awaited anxiety also surfaced in his heart. He then took a deep look at Buzhou mountain and disappeared. In this way, due to Emperor Yi's influence, Hongjun returned to the Lingxiao palace once again and began to focus on closing down and attacking the realm of the sage. 500 years in a blink of an eye. On this day, the vast majority of creatures in the wilderness were still immersed in seclusion, but at this moment, a song that seemed as mysterious as the heavenly sound inexplicably spread to their ears, interrupting their cultivation. Lying high in the 9 clouds, the truth lies in the clouds. The world is dark and yellow outside, and I will be the leader of the sect. Pangu gave birth to Taiyi, following the principles of the 2 elements and 4 symbols. 1 way to pass on 3 friends, 2 ways to explain and divide. Leader of the Xianmen capital, transform Hongjun with 1 breath. Boom. As soon as the words fell, a powerful force like heavenly power spread from the depths of chaos, sweeping across the entire wasteland. Wherever they go, billions of creatures in the wilderness bow down. Because this momentum is too powerful, so strong that all the creatures in the wilderness cannot resist and can only kneel down obediently. At this moment, the wasteland presented an extremely terrifying scene. The weak cultivators were powerless to lie on the ground, while the powerful ones tried their best to resist and eventually fell to their knees. It can be said that no one in the entire wasteland could stand. At the same time, boundless visions emerged from the vast expanse of the heavens, with waves of heavenly sounds playing music beside them, countless rays of rosy light covering the sky and earth, and purple air rising from the east for 30,000 miles. Countless golden lotuses were born out of thin air, and an endless aura of auspiciousness emerged around them. In an instant, the vast expanse of the sky seemed to turn into a golden hue. Finally, the golden lotus slowly spun down, some falling into the vast expanse of the earth, while others fell into the bodies of the vast expanse of life, adding hundreds of years of magical power to it out of thin air. Saint-born, celebrate with heaven. However, this did not surprise the creatures of the flood, but rather a shock struck the hearts of all the creatures of the flood. Everyone gasped for breath and looked up in shock, unaware of what had happened. I don't understand who the immense pressure that makes all creatures in the wilderness bow down comes from. But their doubts didn't last long, and the next moment a familiar word echoed through the entire wilderness. I am Hongjun, who has already proven his way and is a saint of the heavenly way. 1,000 years later, I will preach in the heavenly purple sky palace outside the heavens. All sentient beings in the wilderness, those who are destined, can come. This voice is like the sound of the heavens, echoing through the hearts of all living beings in the wilderness without falling a word. At the moment when this voice fell, the oppression that suppressed billions of beings disappeared, and all beings understood who the master of that oppression was. Heavenly Way Sage Hongjun. And upon learning another news, Hongjun still needs to preach. In the hearts of all the great masters of the flood and famine, they were both confused and shocked. What puzzled them was who this Hongjun was, and what shocked them was his immense strength. They have never seen such a terrifying power before. Making all the creatures in the wilderness bow down is like heavenly power, it's really too terrifying. Because of this, in the following time, all living beings suddenly transformed into a ray of light and flew to the heavens and beyond. Hearing the Tao in the morning, one can die in the evening. In this situation, not many people can resist the temptation of Hongjun's preaching. However, it is worth mentioning that in a place where all sentient beings cannot see, while all the creatures in the wilderness were bowing down in the majestic presence of Hongjun, one of them did not bow down, not even shaking his body at all. That person is Emperor Yi. With the help of the heavenly way, Hongjun exerted the power of a sage and naturally swept through the 33 days. To be honest, when he heard the first sentence, the emperor suddenly woke up from the 33 days of refining, and his pupils involuntarily shrank, obviously also somewhat surprised. Town. However, just as the supreme pressure struck, the emperor seemed to have been on guard and directly sacrificed the heavenly heaven that had just been successfully refined, summoning several magic treasures inside his body to appear around him. In this way, Emperor Yi blocked this supreme pressure and became the only person in the wilderness who did not bow down. Just kidding, he has 2 innate treasures and 2 top-quality innate spiritual treasures to protect himself, and the newly refined heavenly realm, which is a world, not to mention that he also has chaos beads. Therefore, with the blessing of so many treasures, how could he possibly bow down for a mere momentum? Even if he could, he swore to death not to do so. Because he is the heavenly emperor. It's the heavenly emperor who vows to suppress everything. Chapter 10. The Battle of Witches and Demons, Qiankun Ding. New book. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. The Battle of Witches and Demons, Qiankun Ding. New book kneels down to collect flowers. If it's just a aura that makes him bow down as the heavenly emperor, then he doesn't have to be any heavenly emperor anymore. Although I had known Hongjun would become a saint and how powerful the sage's authority was, I still feel a sense of shock involuntarily after experiencing it firsthand. Indeed, I am worthy of all ants under the sage. Seeing the pressure dissipate, Emperor Yi also put away the magic weapon beside him. With a startled look in his eyes, he took a deep breath. Since arriving in the wilderness, this was the first well-known figure he had ever seen in the wilderness, and one of them was Hongjun, who was hailed as the founder of Taoism. Therefore, Emperor Yi naturally had a sense of shock. However, immediately he clenched his fists and spoke with determination, although that's the case, I will definitely break the tragic ending of the Heavenly Emperor in this life. Since the beginning of the Long Han Rebellion, it has been the second large-scale battle of the Lich and Demon Rebellion, as well as the battle between the land and the sky in the wilderness. And Emperor Yi naturally knew that if nothing unexpected happened, he would die and disappear in this battle. These were the original historical trajectories, but now it's different. He wants to break history and become the Heavenly Emperor who suppresses everything. Just like now, even in the face of the power of the sage, he did not bow down, which is undoubtedly a good start. It seems that the process of refining for 33 days can only be put on hold for now. Soon, Emperor Yi thought to himself. During the flood and famine, it may be the least valuable thing, but it is also the most valuable thing. In just 500 years, Emperor Yi refined the heavens within 30.3 days. This speed may already be very fast in the eyes of others, after all, this is a world, and ordinary people can't even think about refining for thousands or even tens of thousands of years. All of this is based on the fact that Emperor One is the Heavenly Emperor. But Emperor Yi can't wait anymore, time doesn't wait for me. Of course, refining the heavenly realm within 33 days is also very beneficial, as long as you have it within 33 days, you will have the great magic power of a world to bless you. This is the magical power of one world, which can be said to be terrifying. Even Emperor Yi himself does not know what great power it will cause if he uses the magical power of one world, let alone the 32 heavenly realms waiting for him to refine. At that time, all the great magical power of the 33 worlds will be available for him to mobilize. He believes that he will be invincible under the sage, and may even confront the sage. As is well known, there are ants under the sages. From ancient times to the present, no one except for the sages has been able to confront them head-on. Even if there are, they have only borrowed the great formation, and it is only a few lazy. Now that Emperor Yi has found a way to confront the sages, it is truly terrifying. However, despite this, the time required is too long. It took 500 years to refine a heavenly heaven, and it will take even longer compared to the next. After 1,000 years, he will preach again, so Emperor Yi cannot wait and can only let it go. I plan to focus my energy on improving my cultivation and strength first. If other people knew about Emperor Yi's situation, they would surely envy him immensely. It should be noted that becoming a saint is something every cultivator wants to achieve. Even if it cannot be done, they still hope to confront the sage head-on. But now there is a path in front of Emperor Yi that he has not gone, so can they not envy it? However, there was no other choice but to bear the weight of wearing a crown. After Emperor Yi devoured Emperor Jun and Emperor Taiyi and became the Emperor of the Wild, he also took on their fate. Fight against the witch clan. Both high and low, as well as life and death. If you don't have enough strength, then the only thing waiting for him in the future is death. At this moment, Emperor Yi took a deep breath and immediately let go of the distractions in his mind, as thinking about them now only added to his worries. Immediately, he was moved in his heart, and in the next moment, his figure had appeared on Mount Buzhou, 33 days away. After all, the largest treasure within 33 days has already been obtained by Emperor Yi, so there must not be any good treasures. Instead of wasting time, it is better to search for other opportunities in the wilderness. Just appeared on Mount Buzhou, but at this moment, a familiar throb immediately made Emperor Yi look towards a certain place. Sure enough, should I say that I truly deserve to be the Heavenly Emperor with great fortune and great source of blessings. With this feeling, Emperor Yi couldn't help but show a strange smile because he knew it was a sign of his own luck coming again. Immediately, the figure disappeared into place, following the feeling in my heart, breaking through a congenital formation and arriving at a hidden place. Here, a simple and ancient giant cauldron with 2 ears symbolizing the 2 virtues and 8 equally divided faces representing 8 natural phenomena can be seen on the surface. Below, there is a 4-legged ancient cauldron suspended in mid-air, and the surrounding area is shining brightly with occasional glow. Is this the Qiankun cauldron? Taking the appearance of the Lingbao into his eyes, Emperor Yi discovered a similar Lingbao in his memory and immediately muttered to himself with curiosity. The Qiankun Ding is a top-notch innate spiritual treasure, transformed from the chaos treasure of the creation of Qinglian Lianpeng. It can not only be used as a defensive treasure, but also return to its original state, break free from constraints and improve the level of the spiritual treasure, allowing the acquired spiritual treasure to be transformed into an innate spiritual treasure. As is well known, although the power of some acquired spiritual treasures is similar to or even stronger than that of innate spiritual treasures, their grade is ultimately a hard injury. However, if one had the Qiankun Ding, everything would be different. And most importantly, this is not the main function of the Qiankun Ding. Its greatest function is the key to the formation of the world's first holy goddess, Nuwa, besides Hongjun. Being able to play a huge role in future generations in repairing the heavens and creating the human race. Both of these are things that can bring great merit, and Nuwa took the opportunity to become a saint, which is enough to illustrate how much merit it will cause. As the key to it, the Qiankun Ding will definitely have great merit. That is to say, as long as there is the Qiankun Ding, when future emperors give it to Nuwa, he dare not have tremendous merit in anything. And merit can not only enhance one's cultivation, but also be bestowed upon spiritual treasures to become merit spiritual treasures. In short, the benefits are enormous. Thinking of this, with joy, the emperor reached out with one hand and called the Qiankun cauldron into his own hand. Just as Emperor Yi was about to put away the Qiankun cauldron, two creatures suddenly burst into his senses and a soft and gentle cry came to his ears. Daoist friend, please show mercy and return the Lingbao to me.